It's called MMA Minute YouTube channel. Nice, my brother. Good luck on your show. I will watch MMA Minute.
MMA Minute, episode 10. We are back after a little bit of a break, unfortunately. Last week I had recorded an episode for UFC 294, had it all recorded, edited, was uploading it to YouTube, and for some reason it would only upload 5 minutes of the video. It was like a 20-minute video, and none of it would upload. It would just stop after 5 minutes, so there's really no point in uploading it after the fights, so just kind of have to eat that one, which sucks. It was a good episode. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna play the parlay from it. I still have it on my computer, so I'll play you guys I'll play the parlay for you guys, so you believe me. You know I'm not bullshitting you. And I trust me, guys. I recorded this the day before, or 2 days. This was a Thursday going into last weekend's fight, so. I'll just play the parlay right away so you guys can hear how we did last week or how we would have done. MMA Minute parlay. We got Sharmagomedov minus 310, Muhammad Makayev minus 425, Ikram Aliskerov minus 625, Magomed Ankalaev minus 375, Khamzat minus 325, and then we're gonna stop it there because we were 4 for 5. If you don't count the Ankalaev fight. I'm just kidding. I wanted Volk to win the main event. Unfortunately, he didn't. But yeah, I figured all the Russians would sweep. That's something else I said in the video. Let me try to find where I say that. It just seems like when the UFC has things like this that it always tends to go their way. When they go to England, all the English fighters win. When they go to when they had the Mexican card the other day or a couple weeks ago with Grasso and Shevchenko, most of the Mexican fighters won, especially in Abu Dhabi. This happens all the time, so this was just something that I kind of expected to happen. And yes, I really wanted Volk to win that rematch. So that obviously Volk losing, that puts a huge huge damper on his whole career. Getting finished like that kind of takes him out of a lot of the conversations people were having prior. Granted, it was to Islam, and he can do a lot after that. It was only a short notice fight, but, wasn't much of a fight. Finished pretty quickly. But hats off to Islam, great fight, great performance by him. All right, so I kind of want to go back and, play the breakdowns of the fights because I honestly hit a lot of them pretty on the head. Let me just play you guys this one, the Shara Bullet fight, on the first fight of the night, just to kind of get some intrigue going. But Bruno Silva is no slouch. The guy's a beast. Took Pereira to a decision in it could have been his first fight, one of his first fights in the UFC, I remember. But yeah, Bruno Silva is no slouch. So it's going to be a real tough test for Shara Magomedov, but I don't know. I just feel like this card is going to go the way the UFC wants it for a lot of these Russian fighters. I can definitely see him getting a submission victory or probably a decision. I'm sure a lot of these, all these fights that go to decision, I'm sure most of the Russian fighters will win them. So kind of pretty much nailed it. Hit the nail right on the head there. Shara, he looked good, had really good striking, had that nice combo from his back where he did the up kick. That was really impressive. Like I said, his striking's real good. Wasn't an easy fight for him, though, by any means. I'm sure a lot of people expected him to go in there and make quick work of Bruno Silva, but those people probably don't know much about Bruno Silva. Clearly, he needs to work on, or Shara needs to work on his wrestling. His takedown defense was horrible. You don't see Dagestans getting taken down by Brazilians, but that was pretty shocking to see a Russian prospect like that with zero grappling. But yeah, got it right. And like I said, all the Russians are gonna win. It just happens that way. It was just pretty obvious to me. Seemed like that was gonna happen. And I shouldn't have rolled the dice with Volk, Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have put my faith in him. I hate to, play the last video a bunch, but I do want you guys to hear it. I want you to know that I did film something, and I got a lot of these picks right, so I'll play another one going up the card. Yeah, we're going to take him beating Tim Elliott. That's the featured prelim. There you go. So let's start out 3 for 3. you know, Shara, or that's 2 for 2 actually. And then up the card, you have Ikram Aliskerov versus Warley Alves. That's a really entertaining fight, actually. And that actually was a good fight. Fucking co-hosting with myself from last week. So it was a good fight because Warley's, like I said it in this video, Warley's a tough guy. He actually has some good wins, and he's been in the UFC forever. And Ikram's a young guy coming into the UFC, fighting on Khamzat's undercard, a former opponent, his only loss in his career. So he definitely had something to prove in that fight, and he made a huge statement with the knockout in the first round. I was super impressed by that. I'll play you guys what I thought was going to happen. So, yeah, it's going to be a grappling-heavy matchup, or it could not be. You know, a lot of the times when you have two. All right, so listen to this. Talking about how when you have, like, how was a Dagestani versus a Brazilian guy. So it's kind of two grapple-heavy fights. Or fighters. Or it could not be. You know, a lot of the times when you have two pretty heavy grapplers, it's a stand-up fight. So I don't know if it gets to a grappling scenario, it could be anyone's because both these guys are super good grapplers. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to the youth, and Ikram Aliskerov has a pretty good streak going on right now. That's another pick, right, man? You see, guys, I was nailing them last week, but you guys didn't get to see it. Damn it, man. We'll keep going. Let me see, going up. Trevor Peaks on it. Definitely going to throw him in the parlay. Muhammad Makai. And then I go into that fight. So, guys, I'm nailing these fights. I'm telling you, I was getting them all right. We'll keep going. What was the next one? It was the Ikram Makayev. I mean, these are kind of easy decisions. Not going to lie. Not like I was making. These are probably all favorite fighters. So, and then there was the Walker and Ankalaev mishap. Just insane. You guys probably heard by now the doctor asked him where he was. He said he was in the desert. So I think actually I'm pretty sure the doctor asked him. So the doctor comes in and he's like, "Why are you threatening Johnny Walker's family?" is what he asked him. And he was like, "What? What are you talking about?" So he just called the fight off right there. And then you guys see they were trying to fight. Like both those guys were pushing everybody out of the way, trying to get to each other. And then Dana comes in. You never see Dana ever going into the octagon to pull some shit like that. So that was entertaining, you know. Johnny Walker's always doing something. Something always happens in Johnny Walker's fights. I kind of thought he would get knocked out. The way he was fighting, I mean, he was moving well. He did that fake to the stomach and then flying knee. That was nice. But, you know, just fight didn't last too long. I thought that Walker would win the fight by decision. Or not decision, by disqualification after that knee. Because I was texting with one of my buddies, and he's saying, like, this is going to be a disqualification, or not a disqualification. He was saying this is going to be no contest. And I was like, the only thing I could think of was Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. The only difference is that was a title fight. You know, why did Yan lose his belt in that situation? And this fight was no disqualification, or was a disqualification, no contest. Not a disqualification, just a no contest. So it's like, I don't know. I don't understand why they gave it to Ankalaev, or why they said it was a draw. But I'm all over the place. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the just like because they were in Abu Dhabi, it might be different. I'm not sure where. I think Aljamain fought Peter Yan in the Apex, I want to say. I'm pretty sure that was in the Apex, but yeah, it was basically the same thing happened, you know, knee to a down opponent. Aljamain wins, gets the belt, and then this is a no contest. So I was a bit confused by that choice, but like I said, it might just be because it was in Abu Dhabi and the other fight was probably in London or in Vegas, so they have different what do you call it? Different what is it? Different athletic commissions. So there you go. Jesus Christ. So yeah, I'd say that might have something to do with it, but just a weird one. It didn't, since it kind of helped the parlay because I had Ankalaev winning. If Johnny Walker had won that fight by disqualification, then that would have sucked for the parlay. So, yeah, moving up. And then there was the Khamzat versus Usman fight. I thought Khamzat would have a lot of an easier time with Usman than he did. You know, it's weird. You know, they're really – not that Khamzat isn't a beast. You know, he's proven in all his fights that he's an animal, but they're giving him a very padded path. similar to the Sean O'Malley path. Like, who has he fought? Gilbert Burns, guy who used to fight at lightweight, fought him at 170. Tough fight for him. And then he misses weight against Nate by 8 pounds, whatever you want to chalk that up as. UFC made him miss weight, or he just missed weight on his own. Who knows? Who cares? He misses the fight with Nate Diaz, fights Kevin Holland at a catchweight. I think they fought at 180 or something like that. And I mean, I'm not trying to like brag here, but was that not the most obvious outcome of a fight before it was going to happen? Kevin Holland is known for having absolutely zero wrestling. You remember his fight with Derek Brunson, and then they give him the fight with Khamzat on like 2 days' notice, probably not even 2 days' notice. And Dana was like, no, he was acting all impressed with Khamzat's win. Like, yeah, it was impressive, but it's like, what did you expect him to do? His style versus Kevin's style, it's just, I don't know. To me, that was a match made in heaven for Khamzat. And then he gets this fight after however long of a layoff, after taking no damage in that fight. And he's fighting Usman on another short notice, a guy who's not in the division. And he had a tough fight just like he did with Gilbert. So it's weird. He's not getting the fights. He's not fighting guys who are in their natural weight class. I think that's something the UFC's kind of doing on purpose, kind of protecting him. Not that he needs it, because the guy's a beast. I think he's gonna get the fight for the belt next. And does he deserve it? Absolutely not. If you're gonna look at the division and look at where, like, he hasn't fought anybody in the division. He's ranked 9th off beating Usman off the couch. So, I mean, the UFC obviously is a star. They're gonna give him the title fight. Strickland already said it's fine. They train together. I think Khamzat's gonna beat Strickland. He's gonna probably submit him. People are saying that Strickland has the advantage if it's a stand-up fight over 5 rounds. He probably does. We haven't seen Khamzat fight past the 3rd round, and I said in this video that was going to be a big thing for him. So that was the thing about that fight, actually, is I knew Usman hadn't fought a 3-rounder since 2018. So that had been a long time, and he's a guy, like, he utilizes his pace. He utilizes those last 2 championship rounds. So when he accepted this fight as a 3-rounder, that was pretty surprising, and I think it was a mistake he made. I don't think he had his foot on the gas at all, not like he needed in that fight. Didn't throw much on the feet, and when he did, I thought he looked good. I thought he put Khamzat on the back foot a lot of the time, you know, but he gave Khamzat too much respect. That first round, you've never seen a guy ragdoll Usman, not ragdoll, but control him on the ground like that. It just goes to show how good this guy's wrestling is. God, I would love to see him versus Bo Nickel, man. I want to see that fight so bad. But he's going to jump from not ranked to 9th to fighting for the belt to having the championship. That's just how the UFC works. They're probably going to make Strickland fight him on like a week's notice, because that's just how they do it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to play what I predicted. But I thought Khamzat would win. I was hoping he would run through him, just because, like, yeah, that's what you should do to a guy who's not in your division, who's got a short notice fight. Yeah, he's the champ, but I don't know. Something about that just kind of seemed fishy, him filling in on that late notice. Kind of Tyron Woodley-esque, you could say, where he just loses the belt, and just from there, his career, I don't think it'll be as severe as Woodley's was. The guy didn't win a single round after he lost the belt, but yeah, he's got to take better fights than that. Take smarter fights than that. I think he's gonna stay at middleweight. Usman, Whitaker called him out. That is a fight you do not want to take, dude. Do not fight Whitaker. Maybe he could actually. Maybe he could wrestle Whitaker for 3 rounds, but I don't think you should take the Whitaker fight. But all right, we'll go on to the main event. Islam head kicked Volk. Not much to say. There wasn't much of a fight there. Happened pretty quick in the first round. You got to give it to Volk. His stand-up is insane. I've seen some people online saying that he's already better than Khabib. That's crazy. I can definitely see, as time goes on and Islam starts winning more, people start bringing that up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll look at the UFC this weekend now, moving on to, I think this weekend we got the fight night. Derek Lewis is coming back versus Jailton Almeida. I love these fights, man. I love these Derek Lewis fights. So he's fighting Almeida, who is submission specialist. Just savage on the feet, good prospect. But I love when Derek Lewis gets into these fights where no one thinks he's gonna win them, because these are the fights that he wins by first round knockout. So I'm not sure what the odds are. I'll check DraftKings, but hammer the Derek Lewis money line. It's not the most stacked card. The co-main is Gabriel Bonfim. So I mean, undefeated prospect, but not big names on the card. So let's hammer. Derek Lewis is definitely going to be an underdog for this fight, and I can only imagine the odds by knockout. So the Derek Lewis fight. Derek Lewis is at plus 360 odds for this fight, man. That's crazy. That is insane disrespect. I look at this the same as I looked at the Curtis Blades fight, big threat on the ground, but you got to get him to the ground first, and Derek Lewis is a hard guy to get down. Looked great in his last fight, too. A lot more agile than you usually see Derek Lewis. This only has the money line. I want to know what it is for Derek Lewis by knockout. Derek Lewis opened at a plus 525 underdog. That is insane, man. I don't understand why people do this. He's got the most knockouts in UFC history. Oh, my God. I see another quick knockout coming for Derek Lewis. Might not be as, or it could be a late knockout like the Volkov. I don't know. I don't know when it's coming, but it's definitely coming. So I'd say hammer the Derek Lewis money line. If you can find odds by knockout, throw those in there. But other than that, I'd say throw your money on Bonfim. Safe bet, undefeated fighter. Let's look at the card a little bit more. Abus Magomedov, coming off his loss of Sean Strickland's, fighting Caro Barallo. I'd take Barallo in that fight. That guy's a stud. Only got one loss. But yeah. And then we got Ismail and Gabriel Bonfim. The Bonfim brothers are fighting on this card. Interesting. Maybe throw both of them in the parlay just for the hell of it. Oh my God, dude. I keep doing this. God damn it. Oh my God, that card's next week. That's brutal. All right, whatever. So this week we got the Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury card. $80 for a boxing match. Insane. Obviously, we'll buy it. We're definitely going to pay for that stream. And so not too much to say here. Tyson Fury giving Ngannou his payday, everything he's asked for since he left the UFC. This is what he wants. We'll see what he looks like when he gets in there, training with Mike Tyson. But it's not going to be good for him. Tyson's saying he's going to go right at him, try to knock him out. That could get him caught, That could get him caught. That might be Ngannou's best chance if Tyson tries to just knock him out first round, charge at him. I think he is kind of talking it up like he's not going to respect Ngannou, but I think he does have a lot of respect for him. I think he knows what could come with getting knocked out by a guy like Ngannou. A UFC champion coming over and knocking him out, that's not a good look. He already has his Usyk fight scheduled. I think Usyk might have pulled out, actually, now that I think about it. I'm pretty sure the fight got moved back, but he announced the fight for 8 weeks after this, which is insanely disrespectful. So he doesn't plan on taking any injuries. I think he weighed in at 277, and Ngannou weighed at like 271, so some big boys. It's going to be real fun. The card below that, though, is just terrible. Boxing needs to do better of like what the UFC's model is, where they stack the big fight cards, and then it's just like a good night of fights. Whereas boxing, no one's turning on the card at the beginning of the night. They're waiting until the main event, until the walkout, to turn it on and watch the fights. But it'll be a fun fight. It'll probably be a quick fight. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like it might look like the Ngannou versus Stipe fight, the first one, when Ngannou looked real tired out there. He's probably going to go back to the PFL after this. If he does get that win, he might stay in boxing. Tyson Fury said he wants to go over to the UFC after this and fight John Jones. But that ain't going to happen, obviously. It actually just remembered. So UFC 295, I think. Yeah, 295 took a pretty huge hit. So what happens? John Jones pulls his pec off the bone when he's wrestling in camp. So honestly, I feel like they might target it for this. This could be good in the long run in a way. They could move that fight to imagine UFC 300, Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, Islam Charles, John Jones, Stipe, Sugar Sean versus Cheeto. How crazy would that be? That would never happen. It might happen, but that would be insane. It's UFC 300. That would be the best card of all time. Probably throw Khamzat on there. Maybe throw Dricus versus Izzy on there. Not too bad. That'd be a pretty good card. Getting ahead of myself, though. So the UFC moved the main event completely. They changed. So Stipe didn't want to fight anybody but John Jones. Apparently, they're planning on a double retirement for that fight. So that's going to suck to see both those guys leave if that is true. We'll see if this injury changes anything. But they replace it with Sergey Spivak versus... No, Sergey Spivak. Oh, my God. They replace it with Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall. And then they're putting the interim heavyweight belt on the line for this. That makes no sense to me. I guess they're just trying to pique the interest of fans. Not that that's not a good fight. I think it's a great fight, and I'm excited for it. I'm going to lean towards Sergey for this. Definitely Tom Aspinall's toughest test. I would have loved to see Aspinall actually get to fight Curtis Blades because they fought for 30 seconds before he hurt his leg. Came back, looked good, but he hasn't been tested on the ground yet. Sergey's going to test him on the ground for sure. I think Sergey's going to be – I think he's probably the toughest test in the heavyweight division for anybody. So I'm going to go Sergey getting probably a submission. It could be a great 5-round just brawl, heavyweight brawl, classic. If that's the case, Tom's got great stand-up. Sergey's got pretty good stand-up too. The guy's an absolute tank. So I just think he's going to get the win. It's weird that they're making it for the interim belt. I guess they're just going to make whoever wins that the real champ once John Jones and Stipe fight. Winner retires, and then they'll just give the belt to one of those two guys. So kind of makes sense, I guess. It's just a little bit weird that they do that last minute, just throw together a title fight. I don't know, strange stuff. Yeah, I mean, after that, there's UFC 296. That's probably one of the most stacked cards the UFC has ever had. I guess for a parlay this week, kind of bouncing around here. For a parlay this week, if you can put Tyson Fury and Derek Lewis on the same parlay, I'd say hammer that. But yeah, got that fight this weekend. No UFC this weekend. God, I gotta get better with that, man. That's 2 times I've done this. So next episode, I guess we won't go over the UFC because just kind of made picks for that now. But we'll talk about what happened in the Ngannou versus Tyson Fury fight, and then we'll look down the line to UFC 296. Super stacked card, one of the best cards UFC's ever had. Let's hope it stays together. Just seems like we've had some bad luck lately of cards kind of falling apart last minute.